The Fox and Friends guys did an in-depth policy report on the president's call for a universal pre-K in this country. And Steve Doocy and Stuart Varney spoke about how this is just impossible. Let's hear.
One problem, while the president offered some details about it, he failed to mention exactly who would foot the bill. Stuart Varney's been thinking about this and joins us live. Stuart, so I read somewhere that with this high-quality preschool for every 4-year-old in America, it would cost $10,000 per kid per year. Where's that money coming from?
That is probably accurate. I don't have the precise details. That is probably an accurate figure.
So here you have Stuart Varney, who's been thinking about this, but didn't think about, I didn't bother to look up how much it would cost. My understanding is it could cost even slightly more than $10,000 per child. But let's let them continue to opine about this thing that Stuart Varney's been thinking about.
The question was put to Celia Nunez. She's the domestic policy advisor for the president, and she flat out refused to say how much this program is going to cost. They'll release details later, but she did say it will not add one dime to the deficit. Okay?
How is that possible?
Just step back for a second. Look what the president is doing here. It's a repeat performance of his campaign, which is you raise taxes on the rich and you offer all kinds of free stuff to people who will vote for you in the future.
Right.
This is one of those occasions.
Well, first off, I don't know that President Obama has raised taxes on the rich at all. We are still at tax rates for people in the upper incomes that is less in some regards than even under Bill Clinton, certainly less than under Ronald Reagan. And this was simply because the Bush tax cuts sunsetted. There was no affirmative raise of taxes at all. And what's wrong with giving people stuff so they vote for you? I mean,
it's actually called politics.
I think to a certain extent that's called politics. I like this program that he is suggesting. It is going to provide access to pre-K for everyone. I think I'm going to vote for that person. Now, maybe Varney doesn't realize, but President Obama's not running for re-election again. Continue.
Free preschool education for 4-year-olds. It's free. Here it is. Hand out the goodies. What the president's really doing here, because he's not saying how he's going to pay for this, he's buying votes with future taxpayer money. He's increasing the scope of the unions because it is the teachers' union which will staff these preschoolers. And he's introducing big government, more big government, to the states. Because the government is going to say, hey, you get out there and you offer this preschool. We may pay for a little of it, but you've got to pay for most of it, and here's how you're going to do it.
Now, the fact is that the program that President Obama suggested is that the states get to opt in to this program. And the federal government is simply saying, if you offer this to your citizens, we will help you do it.
Well, when the president's been out making the case for it, you know, he makes it sound like if we can just get this done, then kids will wind up having better lives, be smarter, and we'll have a better economy. But I have read that preschool is not effective after the 3rd grade.
He said, well, the kids have better lives and better economy. But I have read that preschools aren't effective after the 3rd grade. Now, Steve Doocy, good for him for reading something. It was probably just a bullet point, talking point. But what he's probably referring to is the data showing that Head Start is woefully underfunded and in many respects doesn't really do the job it's supposed to. And that, yes, many students after grade 3, because of the, particularly for lower income kids, the gains that were made by preschool in the first 3 grades are diminished because our public schools are underfunded. However, if you look at the Perry Preschool Project and the Carolina Abercrombie Project, 2 randomized trials conducted in the 60s and 70s in Michigan and North Carolina, you will see, according to the professor who did these studies, a Nobel Prize work, economist from the University of Chicago, James Heckman, that the return rate on the investment spending this money on kids in preschool is somewhere between 7 and 10% return for the government. Because the implications of sending kids to preschool, giving them some form of parity with upper and middle income kids, means that you'll be spending less in terms of Medicaid, you'll be spending less in terms of unemployment, you'll be spending things in less in terms of future education. Kids will commit fewer crimes. They will receive less in the way of welfare, food stamps, and other transfer program payments. It is widely successful in terms of return on investment. And just the fact that Steve Doocy has to say that, well, what I've read says that it's ineffective as an argument for not doing this is a perfect reason to do it if you can make it effective.
Great. It helps you kindergarten first, second, third, but then there's a gigantic diminishment of the effectiveness.
There's a gigantic effectment of the diminishment? What did he say? Sounds like this guy could have used some pre-K and probably some earlier education, in fact. But they have to rail against it because, well, it fits into their meme. There's President Obama trying to get more votes, even though he's not running for re-election. Unbelievable.
Could you imagine just taking that throughout the ages? Just like, look at President Roosevelt addressing the Great Depression, cynically getting votes.
All those people who are broke and without a job and dying on the streets of old age. Of course. Give people more free money.
Doing something about the things you were elected to do something about. It's just the old politics. It's just
yes, we never did that. We never did that in Australia or wherever Varney came from.
He's from England.
England.
Where did he get that Vaughn? That's an English thing?
I guess
I thought he was Australian.
He's doing like
too.
the super fancy
Yes, fancy. Fancy, I think is the word you're looking for.